war in the Middle East, reports are coming in that Iran helped to plan Palestinian terror groups Hamas' unprecedented attack on Israel and gave approval for the assault at the meeting in Lebanon's capital Beirut last week. Iran's involvement was revealed by senior members of Hamas and Hezbollah to an American news journal. Officers of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps had been working with Hamas since August to devise their multi-pronged attack on Israel by land, air and sea. A report says that the attack on Israel was discussed during several meetings in Beirut that were attended by IRGC officers and representatives of 4 Iranian-backed terror groups, including Hamas and Hezbollah. Hamas controls the Gaza Strip, while Hezbollah is a Shia terror group and political faction in Lebanon. Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdollahian had attended at least 2 of the meetings since August, according to Hamas and Hezbollah members, and it is reported and given this information by these leaders. So it is very important to know about the Revolutionary Guards of Iran. The Revolutionary Guard, which is a subsidiary force of Iran, main Iranian army, and there is a Revolutionary Guard that operates and ensures the security of Iran. What is IRGC? Let's know that. Created after Iran's 1979 revolution and to protect the new Islamic regime that came into power. Guards initially envisioned as a people's army during Iranian revolution. IRGC has become one of the most powerful paramilitary organizations in Middle East, and time to time it has shown its power to the Middle East countries, provided assistance to the militant groups in Afghanistan, Iraq, Lebanon, Palestinian terrorists, Syria and Yemen. Moving to the another point, control over the large sector of Iranian economy helps it fund and its activities. So there is a significant control of Iranian guards, and former US President Donald Trump labeled IRGC a terrorist organization. So IRGC was under the attack of American former President Donald Trump, and he blamed IRGC for conducting many terror attacks on the different soils of the globe. Iranian guards came into in the news when in attack the commander Soleimani was killed, and there was a kind of threat that Iran will take a revenge. So it is again being said that this attack, this fresh attack by Hamas, is also backed by Islamic Revolutionary Guard of Iran. So it has been said, it is being said that there are many sources confirming this, that entire plan was designed by IRGC, and IRGC has refused, Iran has refused these claims that there are no links between these fresh attacks by Hamas on Israel and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. However, American sources, especially Antony Blinken, has also refused to confirm this news, and America has said that we don't have evidences to prove the direct link between the between IRGC and the fresh Hamas attack. But there is a report in Wall Street Journal that the entire planning was done by IRGC, and the officers and the commanders of Hezbollah attended those meetings earlier before this attack. The modus operandi of this attack also shows that it's a very professional kind of invasion, coordinated invasion, by land, sea and air. That's why it is being also said that entire attack was supervised by this Iranian guards, and those terrorists were trained by Iranian guards. That's why the IRGC is also in a new controversy, and its name has surfaced again after this attack. So it's a paramilitary force basically, and it is to provide all the resources to Iranian armed forces. It was officially established by Iran military force in 1979 and aftermath of the Islamic Revolution. Whereas the Iranian army protect their country's sovereignty in the traditional capacity, the IRGC's constitutional mandate to ensure the integrity of the Islamic Republic. It is also said that the IRGC provide funds, training, support, backup, intelligence to many terror groups, including Hamas and Hezbollah, to conduct their operations in different parts of the world, such as Israel and other countries. Again, it is being said that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is also involved in this fresh attack. IRGC had 250,000, around 250,000 personnel, according to the data of 2011. And there are different wings of IRGC that operates in different areas. So it is also being said or claimed that Hezbollah was directed and trained by IRGC. Lebanon's Hezbollah targeted Israeli military positions in the dispute Sheba farms. Hezbollah claimed this action was in solidarity with Palestinians. So Hezbollah factor is also important, and the Lebanese army reported rockets launched into occupied Lebanese territory. Israel responded with artillery fire, causing injuries on the Lebanese side. Lebanese army units were deployed. Lebanese army units were deployed along the southern border. So it's important to see the Hezbollah factor in the entire episode. Israel has controlled Sheba farms since 1979. The IDF reportedly fired the Patriot missile over the northern Israel, and Sheba farms have been a long-standing dispute between Israel, Lebanon, and Syria. So why Hezbollah is involved in the entire episode, and why Hezbollah is being also targeted by Israel? These are the facts, these are the involvements of Hezbollah, and why Hezbollah has a deep interest in the entire war. Hezbollah and Hamas, they have jointly attacked Israel, and that's why the Israel is targeting all the settlements or headquarters or the center of Israel, Hamas and Hezbollah. You can see in the pictures coming in how the Gaza is being attacked by Israel now, how Israel is retaliating. More than 300 people have been killed in fresh attacks by Israel in Gaza. Moving to the next visual, which are coming from the war zone. The visuals on your screen are of the relentless barrage of airstrike by Israel that has brought down multiple buildings in Gaza, targeting Hamas military tunnels and command centers. Meanwhile, in Israel, intense gun battle continue as Palestinian militants remain at large following their surprising attack. The sky over Gaza city is filled with billowing smoke as Israeli airstrike persists. The Gaza Strip, already hammered by Israeli air assaults, now faces the ominous possibility of a looming ground invasion. Officials in Gaza report a devastating toll of at least 370 deaths, with thousands more wounded in this already improvised enclave. Israeli forces have launched over 100 airstrikes in Gaza, resulting in the loss of both militants and civilians in the region. The relentless airstrike have left several areas in Gaza pulverized and ruins. The gripping visuals are from Gaza, captured the immediate aftermath of the Israeli airstrike. As the dust settles after the explosion, Palestinians scramble for cover in the city. The intensity of the Israeli strike is palpable as residents hurriedly seek safety amidst the chaos. You can see how people are trying to save their lives, their families. The strike is continue. The entire Gaza city is under attack. You can see that smoke is touching the sky, and people are running here and there to save their families and their lives. In this counter-attack, in this retaliatory action by Israel, many people have lost their lives. More than 370 people are killed so far. And this strike is still continued by the Israeli forces, especially the Air Force of Israel. The airstrike is continuing in the Gaza city. People are crying. You can see they are on the street. They have lost their family members. And you can see that people are there in the final rites of their family members. A funeral procession in Rafah, in the southern Gaza Strip, of the Palestinian killed by Israeli strike. The conflict's death toll near thousands since the Palestinian militant group launched a massive surprise assault from Gaza. And it is resulting in a kind of total destruction of the Gaza city. Israel's strike have devastated Gaza, reducing multiple buildings to rubble. You can see how thick plumes of smoke billows into the sky following the Israeli strike. The visuals reveal the extent of destruction as the Al-Haklok Tower on the Nasir Street in Gaza City stands in ruins. You can see the entire tower has come down to the land after this attack. People have been killed, and a sight of huge destruction can be seen after this strike. In this next picture, you can see that these are the column of tanks. Visuals from an undisclosed location in northern Israel shows Israeli tanks and forces on high alert. Security forces have been strategically deployed in response to the heightened security situation. And moving to another picture coming from the battleground, devastating visuals coming in from the aftermath of Israeli airstrike on Gaza city's Al-Watan Tower. Once a prominent structure in Gaza city, now has been reduced to rubble after Israeli strikes. The extent of the damage is apparent, with debris scattered around the area. People are seen in close proximity of the ruins of the Al-Watan Tower, highlighting the immediate aftermath of the strike. Shocked and distressed locals can be seen. They try to process the devastation caused by the destruction of a significant building. once a significant building of the city has come down, and you can see how it was demolished, destroyed by the fresh attack from Israel. The midnight attacks continued by Israeli Air Force, and it resulted in these destructive pictures. Israeli fighter jets have targeted a military facility located at the residence of Hamas intelligence chief in Gaza, as confirmed by the Israeli Defense Forces IDF. The IDF continue to assert their action in the Gaza Strip, emphasizing their commitment to ongoing attacks. Earlier, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu issued a stern warning to Hamas, characterizing their action as the initiation of a cruel and malevolent conflict. He further stated that the Israel Defense Forces IDF would utilize its full strength to dismantle Hamas capabilities. After the stern and strong statement by Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli forces started attacking the establishment of Hamas terror groups, and in the morning, several pictures of destruction, damage surfaced. More than 370 people have been killed so far. This number will grow as the strikes are continued. You can see these are the visuals of midnight attack from Israel to Gaza, and you can see that how these buildings were targeted by the Air Force of Israel. And after that, people came out from their houses on the street, and you can see that how people are running to save their lives. They were just moving here and there, watching what is happening in this city, and suddenly there is an airstrike and people are trying to save their families, their children. So these are the latest picture coming out from the Gaza after the announcement by Benjamin Netanyahu to take the revenge of this terror attack, and it is resulting into a devastating picture that is coming out from Gaza city. And firefighters along with an excavator are conducting a grim search for bodies within the charred remains of the police station in sderot. The deadliest clashes in decades between Palestinian militants and Palestinian terrorists and Israel have resulted into a tragic toll. Hundreds of lives have been lost among the Israeli population simultaneously. In Gaza, hundreds of people have also fallen victim of the violence. So these are the pictures when the different parts of Gaza City were attacked. These are the fresh visuals as Hamas is trying to hit the Israeli aircraft. You can see how this RPG is being used to hit the helicopter and aircraft of Israeli Air Force. The fighters of Hamas regularly trying to retaliate, counter the Israeli Air Force, as Israeli Air Force is bombing Gaza City and different establishment of Hamas. And now you can see in this picture, the helicopter is moving in the air of Gaza, and from the ground there is an RPG attack on the helicopter, trying to bring down that helicopter flying in the air of Gaza City. Still, the militants of Hamas are trying to push back the Israeli Air Force and to stop their counter-action against them. But as we saw those pictures coming out from the different parts of Gaza, the Israeli Air Force has hammered the entire city, created a great loss to Hamas, targeted many centers and buildings of Hamas. And Israeli strike hits a target in the Gaza Strip as the latest conflict between Israel and Palestinian militant enters a third day. You can see how this tower was attacked by Israel. Israeli force has hit this tower. You can see in the Gaza Strip. And now the entire war has entered into third day, and conflict is getting intense. Israel is planning more attacks. Israeli force have ordered their tanks move towards Gaza, and Israeli airstrike and artillery shelling struck more than 500 targets belonging to the Hamas and Islamic Jihad militant groups in the Gaza. So around 500 targets. And these targets were under attack by Israeli force, Israeli airstrike, artillery force and missile. Moving to another picture, images released by the Israeli army show airstrike targeting tunnels, mosques, buildings and other infrastructures in the area of Beit Hanun. You can see how these structures were targeted by Israeli Air Force, and especially the drone attacks are being also conducted by the Israeli airstrike and artillery shelling strike Gaza as they attack more than 500 targets belonging to the Hamas and Islamic Jihad militant groups in Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip has seen intense and targeted attacks against the Islamic terrorist organization Hamas. So these are the pictures when MLRS was used by Hamas and the Iron Dome was activated by Israeli force, and most of these rockets were destroyed in the air. This is a unique kind of security apparatus in Israel that is called Iron Dome, but Hamas tried to fail that security system of Iron Dome and attacked on Israel, Tel Aviv with more than 5,000 missiles at a time. And that kind of attack is still going on. MLR is being used. On the contrary, Israel is trying to protect its cities with their Iron Dome, with their air defense system.
What we are witnessing are war crimes, blatant, barbaric war crimes, slaughtering civilians, abusing hostages, taking babies from their mothers. There are no words to describe such savagery. This is Israel's 9/11. This is Israel's 9/11, and Israel will do everything to bring our sons and daughters back home. As the Security Council prepares to meet today, Israel has one sole demand. Hamas's war crimes must be unequivocally condemned. This unimaginable atrocity must be condemned.
And plumes of smoke rise from ships docked at Gaza port. Hundreds of people have been killed on both sides since the Iran-backed Hamas launched the multi-pronged assault, with Israeli forces fighting holdout militants and pounding the Gaza Strip with airstrike. So these are the pictures where fresh attacks were conducted, and these are the pictures of Gaza port where many ships were docked, but after the fresh attack, this kind of picture can be seen. Hundreds of people have been killed on both sides since the Iran-backed Hamas launched the multi-pronged assault, with the Israeli forces fighting holdout militants and pounding the Gaza Strip with airstrike. Hundreds of rockets which were fired from Gaza by Hamas and Palestinian terrorists engaged by Iron Dome anti-missile system. Several Israeli citizens captured the Iron Dome system in action as it engaged with hundreds of rockets. You can see in the picture how this Iron Dome is protecting the air of Israel, the cities of Israel, while hundreds of missiles were fired towards the Israeli cities. And Iron Dome air defense system that tried to protect the entire city. Those missiles were struck down in the middle of air before they hit the Israeli soil. This Iron Dome system is well known in the entire world as one of the best air defense system. And now we can see how this air defense system is working when Hamas tried to destroy different cities of Israel. There have been several visuals coming in of a rocket attack being stopped by the Israeli Iron Dome anti-missile system. These are the pictures of the same counter attack by Iron Dome. You can see that how several missiles were fired towards the Israeli city, and how the Iron Dome is destroying all these missiles in the air. So this is the way Iron Dome functions. Whenever an enemy tries to conduct airstrike through missiles on the cities of Israel, the Iron Dome get activated and destroy all these missiles in the air, and so it protects the Israeli soil from such kind of aerial invasion. And the Israeli Defense Forces says the Patriot air defense system launch in northern Israel appears to be a false alarm. See how it was activated, and now it is seeing that it was a false alarm. The IDF says it identified a suspicious object in the air approaching northern Israel and fired an interceptor at it. After an initial investigation, it was revealed to not be a drone. So it was a kind of false alarm. It was not a drone, but there was a suspicion. That's why this system was activated. The IDF says it was initially identified as a suspicious object in the air. That's why they fired the interceptor, and after initial investigation, it was revealed that it was not a drone. On the other hand, Israeli police have released footage showing intense gun battles within Palestinian militants. Israel is still reeling from its deadliest attack in half a century, has officially declared war on Hamas. This declaration comes as the conflict death toll climbs above 1,000. 1,000 people have lost their lives so far in this conflict. The Palestinian militant group launched a massive and unexpected assault from Gaza, escalating the situation dramatically.
يري 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 يري
Moving to the next visual, the current conflict between Israel and Gaza is the latest in a series of flare-ups that have occurred over the years. The two sides have been locked in a decades-long conflict over land and resources. The Israeli military says that it is ready for all possible scenarios and that it will continue to operate as needed to protect the citizens of Israel, quote unquote. So it is a clear indication from Israel that this kind of attack will be there until they ensure that Israel is secure, Israeli people, citizens are secure. And Israeli artillery pieces have been deployed as Israel still grappling with its deadliest attack in 50 years, officially declared war on Hamas. This decision comes as the death toll in the conflict has risen to over 1,000. The Palestinian militant group caught Israel off guard with a massive and unexpected assault from Gaza, further intensifying the situation. Israeli artillery has been deployed towards the border of Gaza, and this kind of deployment is showing how the entire war is being intensified by Israeli military. They are trying to protect the borders of Israel. On the other hand, they are also trying to hit those targets of related to Hamas, which are trying to create more destruction in Israel from the ground of Hamas. So it's a very tense situation on the border side of Israel and Gaza, and that's why these tanks are being deployed on the border of Gaza to intensify the further attack on Hamas terrorist, Hamas group, Hamas headquarters or establishments. Israeli soldiers and tanks are deployed in the town of sderot, while the Iron Dome defense system continues to intercept rockets. So on the ground, the tanks are deployed. On the air, Iron Dome is activated to protect the air of the Israeli cities. On the other hand, you can see how all the roads of Israel are vacated. People have been alarmed and asked to stay inside the house or the safe house. On the other hand, you can see that columns of armored vehicles and tanks are moving towards the border to initiate fresh attacks to reinforce the fighting army of Israel. And this time it has been declared by the Israeli government, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, that there will be a retaliation and there will be a lesson for Gaza this time. So it is, if we see the statement of the Benjamin Netanyahu, it seems that he has vowed to uproot the Hamas this time. And Israeli forces and tanks have been sent to Sderot in southern Israel, and they have blocked off roads in response to the recent attacks. You can see these pictures, how these tanks and armored vehicles are moving towards the city. Because these cities are under attack by Hamas, the gunmen of and the terrorists of Hamas. These militants managed to breach the Gaza border amid the barrage of rockets fire into Israeli from the Gaza territory, and the situation remains tense and has led to increased security measures in affected areas. That's why the security is being tightened. More tanks and armored vehicles and army personnel are being deployed in the border cities so that no further breach can be seen by Hamas terrorists, because there is an example, and that was a shocking example for Israeli army. A column of trucks transporting tanks moves through the Sderot area as the death toll from the latest violence between Israel and Palestinian militants surges. It was a part of area domination tactic by Israel. It was a part of area domination tactic by the Israel.
פז'ו לבנה, 306 באמצע. יכול להיות זק.
So you can see that heavy guns are being carried to the border areas to ensure the safety of the Israeli borders. Tanks are moving towards the border sites, especially those cities which were breached by Hamas during a massive rocket attack by the Hamas. And after that, seeing the consequences, seeing the results of these terrorist attacks, Israel armed forces have moved towards those cities where initially Hamas breached. And firefighters and excavators search for bodies in the burned down police station of Sderot. The worst fighting in the decades between Palestinian militant and Israel has killed hundreds of people, while in Gaza hundreds of people have been also killed.
We need to go inside Gaza and destroy the Hamas and the Jihad. We need to kill all the leadership of Hamas and Jihad, and we need to, if the country and the government need the time that we be inside our house and stay inside month, 2 months, until that the army do the job in Gaza and destroy the leadership of the Hamas and the Jihad, we give them the option. I think this is the thing that we must do, not just for Israel. We need to do it for the world, the free world, because the terrorists that come from Gaza and the Hamas and the Jihad, they come from the order come from Iran, and Iran want to destroy the world. Iran want to destroy Israel, Iran want to destroy Saudi, and Iran want to make all the world in a war. And I think that we need and must do it. Destroy the Jihad and the Hamas in Gaza.
And Israeli military helicopters are conducting rescue operations to evacuate wounded individuals. Gun battles continue to rage between Hamas militants and Israeli forces. This comes a day after Islamist group launched a surprise attack on Israel from Gaza, marking a significant escalation in the Israel-Palestinian conflict.
עשו בעיניים אנשים במשחק. אני רואה קבוצה מעט מימין לאף. רואה שם פצועים? אני לא רואה. שכפתים, אחד נראה פצוע. אוקיי? מימין. קיבלנו, פתוח. עולה, לקחתי איתו. קדימה להזדרז. דקה, סימין.
And coming to the next picture, you can see Israeli citizens are welcoming and saying, wishing them good luck for their new struggle on the border side of Israel. You can see how the soldiers are waving their hands and accepting the gifts from the Israeli people. These soldiers are moving towards Gaza to the battlefield to confront the Hamas. And moving to the next story, we'll talk about Iran, how Iran has denied all the allegations right now. Just look at the pictures, how people are greeting their soldiers, saying bye, and they are trying to encourage, boost their morale to fight with the terrorists of Hamas. Since these soldiers are moving towards the border side of Gaza and Israel to fight with the Hamas group. There is a very unique kind of security structure in Iran. Most of the Iranian people are trained under the military supervision so that in any emergency case they can be also a part of war of the Israeli army. That's why there is a kind of a sense of solidarity between the people, between the common citizen and the army people of Israel. That's why you can see that the same solidarity between the armed forces and the Israeli people in this picture. Moving to the next picture, though Iran has denied any role, let us tell you now how Iran gains from this entire operation against Israel. Iran-backed Hamas planned their attack on Israel by helping them with military and intelligence aid. Iran will attempt to displace Saudi Arabia as the de facto leader of Islamic world. That is a different kind of war going between Iran and Saudi Arabia. The pressure from the people of Arab world who have affinity and empathy towards the Palestinian cause will derail the advancement of growing relations between Israel and countries like Saudi Arabia and UAE. This will likely also offset the development of the India, Middle East, Europe corridor, which was to bypass Iran, thus giving Iran its energy leverage again. Iran can once again ramp up weakening anti-Israel and anti-West sentiment in the Islamic world, as Israel will likely retaliate by an all-out routing of Gaza. Iran wants to use the Palestinian cause to gain geopolitical advantage in the turbulent Middle East region. Weakening Israel and de-established Israel benefits Iran as the other military and alleged nuclear power in the region. There is a different kind of struggle, power struggle going between Iran and Saudi Arabia. That's why it is also said that Iran's involvement is big in this entire episode of fresh attack by Hamas. Iran is trying to get the advantage of the entire situation to become the Islamic leader in the world. So that's all from now.
इंजीनियरिंग कर रहे हैं, जो कि सभी लोग कर रहे हैं।
Coaching is